I've learned something in life. Sometimes you can try everything in your power, every plan, every strategy, every connection, and nothing seems to move. The door stays shut, the mountain stands tall, the situation looks the same. And you start thinking, maybe this is it. Maybe this is how it will always be. But I came to tell you today, you are one moment away from divine intervention. One moment away from Allah stepping into your situation. One moment away from a turnaround you never saw coming. Because when Allah steps in, what was stuck begins to move. When Allah steps in, what was closed suddenly opens. When Allah steps in, the impossible becomes possible. When Allah steps in, your story shifts from struggle to strength. You may feel like you're in the lowest part of your life, but Allah says in the Quran, do not lose hope in the mercy of Allah. That means your setback is not the end, it's just the setup. Allah hasn't forgotten you. Allah hasn't overlooked you. Your prayers didn't disappear. Your tears weren't ignored. Your patience didn't go unseen. Right now, even when you can't feel it, Allah is arranging things in your favor. He's lining up the right people, the right timing, the right opportunities. He's softening hearts, shifting circumstances, preparing breakthroughs you don't even know you need. You see, Allah doesn't need years to change your life. He doesn't even need months. Allah can change your whole story in a single moment. One kun fayakun, be, and it is, one divine command, one unexpected blessing, one open door, one answered prayer, and everything changes. So don't you dare let the enemy convince you that you're stuck. You're not stuck, you're seconds away from a shift. You're moments away from a miracle. You're standing right on the edge of something better, something higher, something greater than anything you've lost. Because when Allah steps in, your fear steps out, your pain steps back, your obstacles bow in surrender, your destiny begins to rise. Get ready, because Allah is about to step into your life in a way you've never seen before. Today I want to talk to you about something powerful, something life-changing. When Allah steps in, everything changes. We all face moments that feel overwhelming. Times when we look at the situation in front of us and think, I don't know how this will ever work out. Maybe it's a dream that seems too far, a prayer that feels unanswered, a burden that's too heavy to carry. But the good news is you are not carrying it alone. Allah, the one who knows you, loves you, and sees every detail of your life, has a way of stepping into situations that seem unfixable. He turns fear into faith, pressure into peace, delay into destiny. And when He steps in, it's not a small change, it's a shifting of the entire atmosphere. What was against you starts working for you. What was meant to break you becomes the thing that builds you. What you thought was the end becomes the beginning of something far greater. You may not see it yet, but Allah is already in the middle of your situation, working behind the scenes, arranging outcomes in your favor. And when the time is right, when your heart is ready, when the path is set, Allah will step in and nothing will remain the same. Allah's timing is always perfect, even when life feels delayed. When you're praying, believing, doing everything you know how to do, and yet nothing seems to change, it's easy to think something is wrong. You start wondering if you missed your chance, if your prayer wasn't accepted, if you're somehow behind in life. But what you don't see is that Allah is never late. He is never early. He is always right on time. You may feel like you're waiting, but Allah is using that waiting to shape you, strengthen you, and prepare you for what He has already written for you. Sometimes the delay is not a denial, it is divine protection. Allah holds things back not to punish you, but to position you. There are blessings that require certain timing, certain maturity, certain environments, and Allah knows exactly when you are ready to receive what you've been asking for. If He gave you everything the moment you prayed for it, you might not have the capacity to handle it. You might not yet be strong enough to carry what you're destined for. So He stretches your patience, builds your character, and deepens your faith. He allows the waiting so that when the blessing arrives, you are prepared, grounded, and grateful. Think about the moments in your life when things didn't work out the way you wanted, only to discover later that the delay led you to something better. You didn't get the job you thought was perfect, but months later you walked into one that fit you even more. You prayed for a relationship to work, but when it didn't, Allah brought someone into your life who honored, respected, and valued you in ways you never imagined. You thought the closed door was the end, but Allah knew the blessing behind the next door was far greater than anything you lost. The timing looked off to you, but it was perfectly aligned for Him. Sometimes Allah slows things down because He's aligning other parts of the story. He's preparing opportunities, touching hearts, shifting circumstances, arranging people in the exact places you will need them. While you're waiting, Allah is not silent. He is orchestrating details you don't even know about. There are blessings with your name on them that are moving toward you right now. You may not see any sign of progress, but in the unseen world, angels are being dispatched, hearts are being softened, and paths are being cleared. What looks still on the surface is full of movement in the divine realm. And when the moment finally comes, when Allah's timing and your destiny align, you'll see how every delay had a purpose. You'll realize that if it came earlier, you wouldn't have appreciated it the same way. If it came sooner, it wouldn't fit the way it fits now. The timing will make sense. The journey will make sense. Every tear, every prayer, every moment of waiting will suddenly fit together like pieces of a puzzle you didn't even know Allah was shaping for you. Because His timing has always been perfect. Even in the moments where the silence felt heavy and the waiting felt long, one command from Allah can change years of struggle in seconds. You can spend months, even years, trying to fix something, trying to make progress, trying to push your life forward, and it feels like nothing is moving. You feel stuck, you feel tired, you feel like the situation is too big, too heavy, too complicated. But the truth is, it doesn't take effort, strategy, or strength to shift your story. It takes just one divine command. When Allah says, be, everything in creation rearranges itself to obey. Doors that were locked for years swing open. Burdens that felt impossible to lift suddenly disappear. Situations that seemed frozen begin to thaw. What was holding you back loses its power because nothing can resist the command of the one who controls all things. Sometimes we think the solution requires extreme effort, long processes, or complicated answers. But Allah can solve what you've been struggling with in a single moment. One moment of His mercy can erase a lifetime of pain. One moment of His favor can lift you out of a season of darkness. One moment of His decree can place you into opportunities you never imagined. You may be worrying about how everything will work out, but Allah doesn't need time. He uses time only to teach, shape, and guide you. The actual change doesn't require time, it requires His decision. And when He decides, creation follows. People may have counted you out. Circumstances may have limited you, and even you may have stopped believing in your own future. But Allah doesn't need permission from anyone to elevate you. He doesn't need the approval of people, the support of your surroundings, or the conditions to be ideal. When He commands a blessing for you, it will find you no matter where you are, no matter how far behind you think you've fallen, no matter how much you feel you've lost. His command does not depend on the size of your problem. It depends on the size of His power. And His power has no limit. You may feel stuck right now, but Allah can shift your entire situation in an instant. What you've been praying for, crying for, hoping for can turn around in a moment so fast that you won't even have time to understand how it happened. Suddenly the right person calls. Suddenly the opportunity appears. Suddenly the weight lifts. Suddenly your heart feels peace again. Suddenly the path becomes clear. That's what happens when the command of Allah reaches your life. It brings clarity, direction, relief, and breakthrough in ways you could never create on your own. And sometimes Allah waits until you are exhausted from trying on your own so that when His command comes, you recognize it was Him, not you. He waits until your plans fall apart so that when He rebuilds everything, your faith becomes stronger than before. He waits until the situation seems impossible so that when He changes it, you understand that nothing is beyond His reach, nothing is beyond His mercy, nothing is beyond His command. Setbacks are often divine setups for greater breakthroughs. Sometimes life pushes you back not to punish you, but to propel you. When things fall apart, when doors close, when people walk away, it's natural to feel defeated, confused, or abandoned. But what you don't always see in the moment is that Allah is shifting you away from what was too small, too limited, too temporary for the greatness He intends for you. What felt like a loss was actually a redirection. What felt like rejection was divine protection. What felt like the end was the beginning of a new chapter that required you to let go of what was holding you down. Allah uses setbacks as tools to prepare you for blessings you're not ready to receive yet, opportunities you can't see yet, and growth you don't even know you need yet. Many times, the things we cling to the most are the very things preventing us from rising. We hold on to people who drain us, places that limit us, habits that weaken us, or plans that keep us stuck. And when Allah removes them, it can feel like everything is collapsing. But in reality, everything is being rebuilt in a stronger, wiser, more elevated way. The setback becomes the foundation of your breakthrough. It becomes the moment you look back on and say, if that didn't happen, I would have never grown into who I am now. The pain becomes the turning point. The disappointment becomes the seed of transformation. The struggle becomes the fuel that pushes you into a new level of reliance on Allah. Sometimes Allah has to close doors because you wouldn't walk out of them on your own. He has to end relationships because you wouldn't let them go even though they were hurting you. He has to allow certain battles because those battles activate strengths you didn't know you had. The setback teaches you resilience, humility, patience, and faith. It strips away illusions so you can see what truly matters. It frees you from attachments that were blocking your blessings. It prepares your heart so that when the breakthrough arrives, you are ready to carry it with gratitude instead of pride. You may not realize it yet, but the setback you're facing is setting the stage for something far greater. The delay is building your endurance. The closed door is pushing you toward a better opportunity. The heartbreak is creating space for deeper healing. The struggle is shaping your character into someone capable of holding bigger blessings. Allah never allows a setback unless there is something significant waiting on the other side of it. You might not see the purpose now, but one day you will look back and understand why it had to happen exactly the way it did. You'll see that the pain didn't break you, it built you. The loss didn't weaken you, it strengthened you. The setback didn't stop your destiny, it aligned you with the destiny Allah wrote for you long before you even knew who you were. Allah works behind the scenes long before you see the result. There are moments in life when you look around and nothing seems to be changing. The situation looks the same, the mountain stands in the same place, the burden feels just as heavy. But what you must understand is that Allah is always active, always present, always arranging things in ways that are hidden from your eyes. Just because you can't see movement doesn't mean there isn't movement. Just because you can't feel progress doesn't mean progress isn't happening. Allah is the master planner, and His plans often unfold in silence, away from your awareness, until the right moment arrives and everything becomes clear. Behind the scenes, Allah is aligning people, shifting circumstances, preparing hearts, moving opportunities, and redirecting paths. He is working in ways you could never orchestrate, on levels you could never access. You may think nothing is happening, but He is positioning you for what you've been praying for. Sometimes the delay comes because something else needs to be completed first. Someone else needs to enter your life. A place needs to open up. A path needs to be cleared. Hearts need to be softened. The timing needs to match the blessing perfectly. Allah doesn't just prepare blessings for you, He prepares you for your blessings. And that preparation is often happening in the unseen places where you feel nothing but stillness. There are moments when you feel forgotten or overlooked, but Allah sees every tear, every effort, every quiet prayer whispered in the dark. He hears you even when you think your words are lost. Before you even make a dua, He knows what weighs on your heart. And long before you see the answer, He begins the process of arranging it. Think of how many pieces must move, how many hearts must change, how many roads must intersect for just one prayer to be answered. It's not that your prayer hasn't been accepted, it's that the orchestration is bigger than you realize. When you feel stuck, Allah may be setting up something that requires more time, more preparation, or more alignment than you can see. Maybe what you're asking for involves another person who isn't ready yet. Maybe the opportunity you want is being improved for you. Maybe the path you're on needs to shift before the blessing can reach you. All of this is happening quietly without your awareness, because Allah works in perfection, not in haste. He sees the whole picture while you only see a small part. And then suddenly, without warning, everything changes. You meet the right person. The opportunity opens. The burden lifts. The path becomes clear. It feels like it happened overnight, but in reality, it was in motion long before you ever realized it. The unseen world had been shifting for you, responding to your faith, responding to your patience, responding to your trust. When the result finally becomes visible, that's when you understand that Allah was with you the entire time, shaping the outcome in the background, preparing something better than what you imagined, and aligning everything for the right moment to be revealed. Your faith invites Allah's intervention into your situation. When you choose to trust, even when life feels uncertain, when you choose to believe, even when you can't see a way forward, that faith becomes a powerful force that pulls divine help into your life. Faith isn't just a feeling, it's a signal, a declaration that you are relying on Allah more than your circumstances. It tells the universe that you may not know how things will work out, but you know who will work them out. And whenever you hold on to faith in difficult seasons, Allah responds in ways you could never imagine. Faith opens doors that effort alone could never open. It attracts blessings that logic can't explain. It shifts outcomes that seemed fixed. When you stay patient, when you refuse to give up, when you keep making dua with a heart that trusts the one who hears it, you create space for Allah to step in. You're saying, I've reached my limit, but Allah has none. And that's when miracles unfold. That's when burdens lift, solutions appear, and peace replaces anxiety, not because the situation changed first, but because your faith invited Allah to change it.